I never in my life thought I would be in WWE, and I did that, and I was champion. I did all these things, part of Women's Evolution. What else can I do? Who knows? I feel like I was under that umbrella for so long that I'm so excited to explore and see what else is out there.
What's going on, everybody? Zack Heydorn here with the Takedown on SI. And with me today, very special guest, Leah Van Dale, formerly known as Carmella from WWE, former women's champion. Leah, how's it going? It's so great to talk to you.
I'm so happy to talk to you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so, congratulations, I guess, first and foremost. It's fantastic. Number two,
Yeah.
what's it like being a mom? I'm assuming you're enjoying it.
I love being a mom. I, to be honest, did not think I would love it this much. I wasn't sure if I wanted kids. When I was younger, I wanted kids. And the older I got, I'm like, maybe it's not on the cards for me. I have 3 stepkids. Maybe that's my role. And then, becoming a mom has truly just been, to me, the most comfortable role. I feel like I'm meant to be a mom. And I just truly love it so much.
That's tremendous. Has the little one got into professional wrestling yet, or not so much?
No, not so much.
Okay.
He hasn't. I really tried to limit his screen time. I mean, he's obsessed with Blue's Clues and Miss Rachel and things like that.
There
But
it is. Yep.
he hasn't. A few times I've had him watch my husband on TV, and he has no interest. He'll be like, "Dad," for 2 seconds, and then that's it.
Put on more episodes of Bluey, and we'll be fine. We'll be good to go. Well, that's great. That's great. That's phenomenal. And congratulations on number 2 cover. That's going to be exciting too. I want to start off just kind of with the elephant in the room. What happened at the end of your time with WWE? Because it seemed, like everything's going great. Everything's going smooth. You're away doing your thing as a mom. And then all of a sudden, things kind of end. And I get it. It's a tough industry, but can you give your fans and the audience some insight as to just what happened?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine, to be honest. I feel like now I've had some time to process it, and I feel at peace with how everything happened and with what, the trajectory of my career. I really don't know. When I had Dimitri, I got what's called drop foot. I had deep fibular nerve damage behind my right knee when I had him. So I was really hobbling along for months, and I was going through physical therapy. I was seeing different spine specialists and neurologists, you name it. I've been going and seeing that type of doctor, anything and everything, chiropractor, acupuncture, doing everything I can to get my foot healed. And WWE was aware of this. They knew about it. I mean, the day I had my son, I told them, hey, by the way, this is what's going on. And I kept them, informed on what was happening. And then, I got a call the middle of February. I don't remember the exact date. And they kind of just told me that my contract was expiring and they weren't going to renew it. And I was for sure shocked. I was doing everything in my power to go back. I wanted to go back. And unfortunately, it just wasn't in the cards for me. And here we are. I really don't know.
Sure.
When it happened, I was definitely hurt. I was bummed. I wanted to, it'd be different if I didn't want to go back and I'd be like, oh, whatever, great. It's fine. It's done and over with. But I wanted to go back. Yeah. And that to me was, I think, a hard pill to swallow, to know that I wanted to and they didn't want me. But at the end of the day, your career, I mean, I can't be in WWE forever. Everyone's career comes to an end. Sure. And, this is the end of the road for me.
Because you have such a history with WWE, and you were and we're going to get to some of the kind of groundbreaking moments that you had in the company, but you're synonymous with that time period in WWE where they ramp up, the women's division, the focus on the women's division, equal, not just time, but, the women's Royal Rumble and the women's Money in the Bank. And so you're synonymous with a lot of that. Did you hold a grudge against the company wait, what? I'm gone? What the heck?
Of course. I mean, I was upset. I really was upset, and I was hurt by how it went down, because I feel like I was always a company girl. I did what was asked of me, I was with the company for 12 years, and I always do what was asked of me, even if it was things that I didn't necessarily think were fun or agree with, but I still did it because I was a company girl. I always, played by the rules. And like you said, I was part of the women's revolution, and I felt hurt that it happened the way it did, because it's not like I was just some chick who stepped in for a couple years and did a couple things and then left. I really was there for a while. And, like, to see a lot of people say, oh, it's because you suck, that's why they got rid of you. And it's like trying to ignore that noise, and know that, in my heart, I really gave a lot to this company, made a lot of sacrifices, and, it is what it is. I wish I had more answers. I am at peace with it. I feel like it all works out the way it's supposed to. And if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be pregnant right now, and have this next baby on the way. So I'm choosing to look at the positive, and I guess that's really all I can do.
It's a healthy mindset.
Otherwise, I'll drive myself crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it because of that, or you know what I mean? I just, it is what it is.
Do you was there like plans for return in place, like beforehand? Like, how close was it to green light, like you're coming back or not?
Well, I was not physically cleared at all to wrestle. Even if, say, right now I wanted to go back and I wasn't pregnant, I would not feel comfortable being in the ring with other women and having someone else's life in my hands. I don't feel comfortable, like, on my foot. However, I did reach out last summer. I think I was maybe 6 months postpartum-ish. I had reached out and said, I want to come back. I can't wrestle, but I'd love to contribute any way I can. I wanted to be a manager. I pitched to be a manager for Pretty Deadly. I had talked to the guys ahead of time.
Wow.
I loved the idea, and we were all on board and kind of collaborating, and the idea was well received. I had several phone calls. I got cleared by my doctor through WWE's medical to travel. So not cleared to wrestle by any means, but I was cleared to travel and be in the ring and be a manager. And we were having conversations for weeks and weeks, and then it just kind of was radio silent, and I didn't really hear anything back after that point. So that was last summer. I think it was last July. So yeah, and I haven't heard from anyone since then.
Wow. So it's kind of a yucky question to ask, but do you think did the injury have anything to do with, like, you being released? I mean, is that kind of, do you find that that's par for the course for a lot of people in WWE, that, like, they want people that obviously can be active? Like, how much of that is that?
I mean, I wish I could tell you. I really don't know. I know that before there was some sort of, I don't know if it was an unwritten rule that you weren't going to get released if you were injured. Now they're releasing people left and right when they're not cleared. Obviously, this injury didn't happen in the ring for me, so this is a different scenario. It's not like I was out skydiving or something. I had and I got injured, so it's like I was being reckless by any means. So I really don't know. I know in the past they have brought people back who weren't cleared to fulfill other roles. My husband being one of them. He had several concussions, and he was given the opportunity to be a commentator. And I do think it's unfortunate that I wasn't given an alternate avenue to succeed, or at least try, because I do have tenure with the company. I do have I've done some shit in this company. It's not like I just, again, was just some chick who had been there for a little bit. I feel like I really understand the ins and outs of the business. And I don't know. Who knows if it was the injury, I guess, long story short. But yeah.
So who came up with the idea for the Pretty Deadly partnership, potentially? Because that sounds like a match made for you and for them.
Yeah, my husband and I, we always just come up with ideas, and we're just always, spitballing ideas. And I'm like, oh, what if I go back and I do this? Or what if I go back and I do that? And it's like, I knew I couldn't wrestle. So I'm like, who could I elevate? And that would be a perfect match and just something different, and not be a manager for a female tag team. What about a manager for a male tag team? And I just thought it would be so much fun. And like, we were just going back and forth, and we were having so much fun, my husband and I, coming up with all these ideas. And immediately I texted Bailey, who I knew had their number, because I didn't have any of their numbers because I hadn't been on the road since they got called up. So I'm like, hey, any chance I can get their numbers? Like, I want to pitch this idea to them. And they loved it, and they were so on board. And they were like, yeah, well, let's pitch it. So then I pitched it, and like, again, I said it was well received, and then it just didn't happen.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned you've done some stuff in WWE, one or two things, I'd say. No, so much. Again, first Women's Royal Rumble. You won the first Women's Money in the Bank, and more so than that, you're just a part of an era in the company where women's wrestling is finally emphasized and focused on in the right way. Yeah. And there you are, face of that, one of the faces of that. What does all of that mean to you? Like, being a part of all of those firsts for a company that really at that time was behind the eight ball in terms of what they did with women's talent. And there you are, and now you look back, it's almost 10 years ago now. Right. What's your take on that? What does that time mean to you, and what does it mean to you to be a part of that type of impact for WWE?
I am so grateful. I feel like, again, much I'm looking at my departure from WWE, I feel like the way my career turned out, how it started and everything it evolved into, it was all meant to be. And I feel so grateful to be a part of the women's evolution and to be part of all of these first evers. It got to a point where it's no longer a big deal that the women were doing these things because it was just so normalized. But when it first started, it was like, whoa, this is huge. Yeah. You know, to main event, I can't even count. I can think on more than two hands the amount of times I main evented SmackDown, which is crazy. That was so unheard of for the women. And so I'm just so grateful. And I feel like because I'm still so close to it, like it's still so fresh, I think over time it will hit me. And I think it will also hit the fans in the WWE universe, my contribution to this business, and to know what I gave to this company and the things that I feel like I was different from a lot of women. I had a strong character, and I had a lot of great matches, and I was a part of a lot of great firsts. And I think more time goes on, people will realize that, myself included, and I'll be like, wow, I can't believe that that's something that it was such a special time for the women. And I'm so, so grateful that I got to be a part of it.
You know, when you look back at that time, you were able to do so much, like on television. To your point, you were main eventing SmackDowns, having good matches. You were then, involved in different backstage segments. You worked with Enzo and Cass on the way up. You had a run with R-Truth, which kind of showcased some of your, comedic chops and chemistry with him. It's like you were a jack of all trades in terms of like what you were able to do as a performer on television. Was that something you had to like cultivate and work on? Did you know, like, prior to like coming up to the main roster, that that's the kind of talent that they needed there? Or is it just you're up there and you're trying to make the best of what they throw at you?
Well, always try to make the best of what they throw at me, always. No matter what it was that they gave me, I never looked at it like, oh, I'm better than that, or, oh, I can't, like, it was, what can I do with this and make it even better? I always try to look at it as a challenge. But I knew I was capable of that. I feel like when I was in NXT, when I first started out, when I came up with the Carmella character, I really wanted to be a strong character. And I knew I didn't have the wrestling skills at the time. I didn't come from wrestling. I was a dancer. So I'm like, what can I bring that's different? And it was a strong character. And I really am so proud of my character and being able to like make that such a strong part of the division, and, great promos and bring different sides out from different characters and really pushing people's buttons and just being a character. I really enjoyed that. And then being able to do the stuff with Ellsworth, and then evolving into R-Truth. Right. And there was just always kind of someone there to feed off of and give some of my energy to. And I always just try to make the best out of whatever it is that they gave me to show a different side.
You worked with so many of the top of what history will tell is some of the top,
Yeah.
not just women's talent in WWE, but period in the WWE. Becky, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Bayley, you mentioned. Talk about what it was like to be in the ring with them. I mean, as you said, you don't come from a wrestling background, but there you are, hanging with some of the best, in the division in the WWE. What was it like to be in the ring with them? Did you learn a lot from them?
Yeah, I feel like being in developmental with them and then moving up shortly after, it didn't, at the time, of course, I know how great they are, but it was just like, oh, this is Sasha. Oh, it's Charlotte.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah.
Becky. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have egos. They didn't make you feel less than. And I knew what I brought to the table. And a lot of the things that we did in those matches were my ideas and things that I brought to the table. And I'm really proud of that. And I'm so grateful that, this was the class of women that I trained with and got to really be like, that was our division for so long. And I'm really just proud of all of us.
Did you know when you were down in NXT training and coming up with those women, like, did you have the sense that there's a change in the air coming, like as far as what women are going to mean to WWE? Were you able to get a sense of that because of the talent there, or did you not have any of that and you're just going about your day trying to make it as far as you
we could all feel it. I think
Good.
especially on our NXT live events, we would have 2 women's matches, whereas that was unheard of before. There would maybe be 1 and it would just be 2 women being able to work. And we were having like 1 singles match and then 1 tag match. So many more women were on the card just at our NXT shows, which was huge because they weren't even doing that on the main roster at the time. It was just maybe 1 women's match and it was like an 8-woman tag match. And we were, really getting an opportunity to learn and grow. And then I think, with those takeovers with the women in NXT really showing what they can do, what they're capable of. And that Brooklyn match with Bayley and Sasha, I just think just set everything off. And that was one of the best matches of all time. And I will stand by that. It will be for all time. I mean, it was just incredible and so special. And yeah, it's crazy how when you're in it, you could kind of feel that there was a shift happening. And then when the girls, I think it was Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte debuted on Raw, I was like, okay, here we go. And then we had the draft shortly after, and like Lexi and Nia and I all went up, and yeah, it was time.
When you got called up, you were prior to that, you were with Enzo and Cass as not a manager per se, but as just a part of that act. They went up. What was that like to kind of be separated after having so much success together as a trio? At one hand, I would have to imagine there's a little bit of anxiety with that because it's like, oh, that's what I know. But at the same time, you split off, then it's all you, and you're on your own. Ceiling is a little bit higher, I would imagine. So what was that like to be separated and then called up on your own?
I mean, I was devastated when it happened. I thought sure we were all going up together. We were going on loops, like the 3 of us going on main roster loops for months actually leading up to that. I thought for sure, like we were doing live events together. I was with them. So it's not like they were just going on the live events and I was back in NXT. I was going with them. So I just thought for sure that we would all go together. And then when we didn't, I was devastated. And I'm like, well, I have to, and I couldn't use any of my catchphrases anymore because they were using them on the main roster. So it's almost like I had to start over from scratch. But in hindsight, it obviously was the best thing for me. I was able to figure out who I was without them. And I mean, I think they went up, it was right after Mania, and I was called up in July. So it was shortly after. And I'm so grateful it went the way it did. And I wouldn't have changed a thing.
Do they tell you like, hey, we're breaking you up. We know it kind of sucks, but we're doing it for your benefit?
Hunter told me that. So
he did. Okay.
Pulled the boys aside ahead of time. And then, because there was a takeover the night before Mania, and it was after the takeover, he had pulled them aside, told them that they were going up. And I had no idea. I was already on the bus to go home or to go back to the hotel. And someone came and got me on the bus. And they said, Hunter wants to talk to you. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. And he's like, just want to let you know, the boys are going up. You're not. And I was like, what? I was like trying to fight back tears. And he's like, you can do this on your own. I know you can. Like, you're going to have your own career. And I just thought at the time it was lip service. I really didn't believe him. And come to find out, I mean, it all worked out. And I'm so grateful that it went the way it did.
Wow, what a story. As you mentioned Triple H, you have a very, like, I feel like you're in an interesting position to answer this question because, you know, he takes over the NXT show and the NXT brand, and really, you know, from the start when it's on, you know, the WWE network early on, you're a part of all of that. So you've seen him from that level of a leader to, you know, now he's running, you know, all the big stuff on the WWE main roster. What is he like as a leader, and how influential was he in your development and your career?
Well, my development in NXT, for sure, he was such a huge part of it. I mean, all of my skits when I was first debuting, he was very much a part of. He was on the phone with us and like telling us, okay, no, I want her to do it like this. I want her to do it like that. Because we were doing myself, Enzo and Cass, we had all of those like silly skits we were doing, and he was very much a part of that. When I first debuted on the main roster, he wasn't as prevalent. He was more in NXT still. So he wasn't huge in that aspect when I first had debuted. And then more towards the end of my career, for sure, he was a part of it. And like, I just think back to my last run when I went back briefly before I got pregnant, when we had Elimination Chamber, and he was very much a part of that match. And, you know, Asuka and I had some ideas, and he was like helping us with that. And he's great. I really feel like, and he's open, he's collaborative, and he'll be honest. Like, if you have an idea and he doesn't like it, he's going to tell you. But if he does like it, he'll find a way to try to make it work. And I really love my time learning from him. And yeah, I really have nothing but positive things to say about him.
Interesting. And obviously this question takes a, you know, different tone than it would have, you know, 2 years ago. But what about Vince? I mean, you obviously worked with Vince McMahon a lot throughout your time, especially early on, you know, in the women's revolution. Talk about, you know, him and what he did for you on the main roster, and maybe how he differs from Triple H in that regard.
I loved working with Vince. I really did. And this is, you know, all of that, everything, the noise that's happening, that aside, but my personal experience with Vince was nothing but positive. He was always so open to anything that I would have to suggest, or if I had questions or concerns, I could always go to him, and he would always make time for the talent. He really would. I feel so grateful for my time to learn from him. I mean, he is so, like, his mind is so, I don't even know the word to explain it, for how his mind for this business is just so incredible. And I feel like I learned so much from him, whether it was like just cutting a promo, or I always go back to talking about my promo after I won Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And he was so specific about what he wanted me to do in this promo, and look here and do this and talk about this. And he was just awesome to work with. And I mean, when I pitched to work with Ellsworth, and he like loved this idea. Once he saw us on TV together, he was just like, this was so good. And I think because of that, he always kind of like had time for my ideas, because like, they were crazy. I had crazy ideas, and this is known for crazy ideas, and he goes for it. And sometimes I would go to him and be like, no, that's not going to work. And I'm like, okay, but at least, you know, I try. And I think that he respected that about me. I didn't just kind of like sit in the corner and just take what was ever given. I always tried to make the most of whatever I was given. And I would try to have feedback and collaborate.
Wow. So you're still very busy. Obviously, baby number 2 is on the way. You have a new lifestyle wellness brand that you started up called Snatch. Talk about that, and like how that started and what its purpose is, and how people can learn more about it.
Yeah, so I had several miscarriages before my son Dimitri, and I just felt like because I do have this platform through WWE, I had to do something with it. I had to talk about it. I had to kind of start normalizing these things that happen to women that nobody talks about. Everyone just kind of deals with it in hiding in private, and I just felt like it was important to share my journey. And when I did talk about my miscarriages, so many women had, reached out and said that they had gone through that as well. And it made me feel like, okay, I need to do something with this. I need to be more real, be more vulnerable. Social media only shows the highlight reel of everyone's life. And that's kind of what Snatch is about, talking about all of these things. We talk about fertility, pregnancy, postpartum. And it's just been a lot of fun, really getting to know a lot of women. We have a private forum where we have a lot of experts that come in and educate women on these different topics. And we have a new workout program launching next week. That's a prenatal workout program for women. And we're working on a lot of other things coming up for Snatch, different programs to educate women, again, on all of these things, on pregnancy, postpartum, because there's so much that happens that nobody talks about. Like I would talk to my mom or my mother, and I'm like, why didn't you guys tell me about this? Or why didn't you guys talk about, well, you just deal with it. It's like, well, that's what you guys did back in the 80s. We're not dealing with it anymore. We need to talk about it. We need to feel better about it. And that's what Snatch is all about.
Snatch.co is the website that you can find out more information about the brand and about all the different stuff that is going on with the organization. Leah, last question I gotta ask: what is the potential of a return to the ring, whether it's WWE or maybe involved in a different promotion? I mean, are you having conversations about that? Are you having thoughts about, hey, okay, this door's closed right now, but I mean, wrestling is, there's opportunity a lot of different places these days in 2025. And I'm sure people would be knocking your door down to try to get you in.
Well, I appreciate that. I feel like at this point in my life, I'm really trying to just pivot. It's a time for a change. I feel like I did that for 12 years. And now I'm really trying to just focus on being a mom, building my brand, building Snatch. Not to say I'll never go back. I think at some point I'd love to put my Jordans back on, moonwalk back out there and get in the ring again at some point. Just not right now. I'm trying to focus on other things. I'm trying to manifest. I mean, I'm on Sports Illustrated right now. I'm manifesting being on SI Swim. That's bucket list of mine. I'm really big on manifesting. So I just want to experience life. I want to do different things. I feel like I did wrestling for so long. What else is out there? I never in my life thought I would be in WWE, and I did that, and I was champion. I did all these things, part of Women's Evolution. What else can I do? Who knows? I feel like I was under that umbrella for so long that I'm so excited to explore and see what else is out there and, see what else I can do.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for your time. Once again, it's snatch.co. If you guys want more information on Leah's brand, it's there for you to find. And I'll also have it in the show notes. You guys can just click right there. I'll make it real easy for everybody to get there. Leah, thanks so much for the time. Good luck with baby number 2 and keeping an eye on baby number 1.
Yes, I'll try. He's a handful.
I don't doubt it. I got 2 little ones also, and it's exhausting but rewarding.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.